Is Coach K retired for good? Is he about to pull a Tom Brady? Duke assistant Nolan Smith informed the staff that he will not be continuing in his current role on Jon Scheyer's staff and will instead take a position at Louisville as the top assistant on Kenny Payne's staff, per Mark Spears of Anscape. Smith was promoted to assistant coach last April. After one season as a formal assistant on Coach K's staff, he now departs for his late father, Derek Smith's alma mater. There are reports that Louisville paid heavily to get Smith, an incredible recruiter who JWill has credited with being the key to Duke's incredible 2022 recruiting class. Jay, what does this mean, do you think?
So I don't know this for a fact. This is sheer speculation on my part. But there's a lot of moving parts here. First off, I'm really happy for Nolan Smith. He deserves to be an associate head coach. To go back to where his father played, his father, he lost his father when he was younger. I love that for Kenny Payne, who was the assistant coach with the New York Knicks, who was originally with John Calipari at Kentucky, now the head coach of Louisville. Louisville's about to be a crazy program for bringing Nolan Smith on as associate head coach when they confirm the deal. But I think it leaves a huge gap at Duke. And the question is, who fills that void from a recruiting perspective? And it leads me to think, which I've been thinking a lot about since I heard this news yesterday, that does Coach K come back for another season, one more final season? Now, I'm not saying I know this. I'm just throwing it out there because these kids are coming in expecting to win a championship. And they were recruited and they have close relationships with Nolan Smith. So it's like, if I recruit Key, and I'm one of the main reasons Key is coming to my school, and now I'm leaving my school, even though the school has a great footprint, that creates a different dynamic between all these players. So now, will some of these players decommit? Will they go to other schools?
That's what I was about to ask you. I was about to ask you that if Nolan Smith is the guy, and clearly he is because and he departs to go to Louisville, the kids probably most likely, Max, will look to try to figure out. I don't know if they sign. Basketball's so weird. You can sign in November.
You can decommit now, yes.
Oh, yeah. So will they decide to decommit, join Louisville to some degree or other programs across the country that was already recruiting them? So it will weaken Duke's recruiting base to the point where they're not as heavy, with the number one class anymore. Maybe they drop down to the fifth class, sixth class, and will Coach K want to come back dealing with that opposed to the number one class? Because we got the number one class, you know what you got. So it's more of a appetizing, so to speak, when you look at it and you go, oh, I can win with this class. But if I'm losing some of the top McDonald All-Americans and they leaving, do I want to even take that on?
Well, that's a legit question. If you're Derek Lively, the second, who's a top 3 rated player in the class, if you're Dariq Whitehead, who's number 1 rated player in the class as a guard, do you want to come to a first-year head coach where that relatability that you have with the assistant is no longer there, even if it is Duke?
Yeah, that's the thing, Jay, that I thought of was, does Coach K think that maybe he can save this class a little bit if he announces that he, would come back and coach another year with some of these players who were recruited by Nolan, unsure about playing for Jon Scheyer, but would they come back to play for Coach K? Again, I'm not saying this does happen, but it does feel like something that could be the impetus for Coach K to come back and it not be, oh, he's coming back for the attention. No, he's legitimately coming back because he thinks it's what's best for the program. It's what's best for Jon Scheyer.
How long has Nolan Smith been the top recruiter
for a while?
So if he's been the top recruiter, you would think, and this is what I think, because in football, the relationships are with the assistant coach. It's not with Coach K is the closer. Coach K is not going in, night out at these kids' AAU events, at these kids. He's a closer. He doesn't have the relationship with the parents the same way assistant coaches.
He doesn't have enough time to put in the legwork.
He doesn't have so much like Evan is saying. Can he continue to keep the class together? I don't think so because the assistant coach who was recruiting him is no longer there.
But if Coach K, to Evan's point, if Coach K doesn't like the taste that a loss to UNC leaves in his mouth in the Final Four, if for whatever reason he wants to come back, this is plausible. This is a reason where he could say, yeah, I threw myself a year-long party, but by announcing that I was retiring, but the institution needs me.
Well, Max, here's why I give it a legit chance, Evan and Max and Key. Because if you're Nolan Smith and you have a great relationship with all these players, you're in the conference, man. You're at Louisville. You're picking up the phone and you're saying, yo, Derek,
Yeah.
like, it's time.
Yeah,
We're
yeah.
here.
We
This is
need
what
you.
we're doing here. We're going to put together a different team. Be coached by somebody. It turns into recruiting battles, man. And it weakens your hold on the number one class. So if you're Coach K, how do you strengthen that hold? I'm coming back.
Plus, Max, he already did that last year, meaning 2021, where he announced his retirement early to finish, or 2021, right? Yeah,
21, 22,
yeah, 2021. He already said, I'm only gonna stay one more year on. Like every year, you keep saying you're gonna stay one more year. Now all of a sudden, you coming back, so you got 1 foot in, 1 foot out. Families aren't gonna want to be in that position, in that situation, and dealing with them.
You're saying it's more of a reason for him to stay where he is, retired.
Yes. Just be a helicopter coach, assistant coach, whatever you want to call it, sitting there overseeing the program, opposed to trying to come back to save the recruiting
Putting your
class.
name on it, and then it's a mess.
It's a
Well,
mess.
the thing is, Max, they may need to go to recruiting more 3-star, 4-star recruits instead of the one and done, so they can build the program over a longer time instead of playing the one and done scenario.
Thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.